In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at this blog post here, and I've had a client ask me to help them a little bit more to set this up, so I thought I'd create a video. Where this is useful is if you are purchasing published articles from third-party sources to help your customer base on your website. What you'll need to do is create a canonical link that goes back to that site, so Google can follow that to know that you've essentially purchased the license to use that blog post. And I've got an example here, and this is the one we're going to use. Now, the downside is there is no simple way of doing this in Squarespace directly. So what I've had to do is create a bit of custom code. I did it initially for our client, but I've also made it free for you as well. And it's this script here. So a couple of points before we jump in. One is this will not work with the personal plan on Squarespace. So if you're on the lowest plan, this JavaScript will not work, unfortunately. We're going to add it into a code block as well, as opposed to using the head code or the footer code, because this is specific to each individual blog page. Because we could be having blog posts from different sources, or in this case, we're going to be having some blog posts which have been licensed externally, but also my client will be creating their own blog posts as well. So we want to be able to pick and choose when we add this code. So if I go to our Squarespace admin, we're going to go to the same blog post and we're going to edit. And now we're going to add our code block somewhere in this page. If you wanted to add this canonical link on a different type of page, that's absolutely fine. What you won't have is a Squarespace 7.0 editor, which is what the blog uses. You'll have the new Fluid Engine editor instead. So what I can do is click on the plus icon in this case, and then for both it's essentially the code block is that we're going to add in. If I can find it. Gone past it. There we go. And now we've got our window. You can see it's here, ready to add our code in. So we're just going to check a couple of things first. I think one of the check points is we need to make sure that we're using HTML. It doesn't say actually. So if we were to put it in the head section, it would cover all pages. We can change it here to JavaScript. But actually we want to hide the source code. So I'm going to put it back to HTML and then hide the source code. I think the JavaScript window block there, I hadn't realized this until now, and I've been using Squarespace for about 11, 12 years, is that will show the JavaScript on the front end as opposed to hiding it. And we want to hide it. But we do get this option here to preview in safe mode. The one thing that we need to do before we save, though, is there is one area where we need to change the URL. And we can see it here. So we're going to go to pixelhaze.studio.com. And we're going to get everything after the .studio. So we're going to go to the home page in this case, but you will have been given this canonical URL. And if it's linking back to the source article or to another version of it, then that will give you the full URL string as opposed to just the root domain, as we've got here. There we go. That's now in place. We've made that change to the URL. So you can go to this page at any time. It's mainframe.pixelhaze.academy. And if you search for Canonical, it will give you this link. I'll try and remember to put this link in your version, in the notes to go with this video as well. But this is the Pixelhaze mainframe. It's still very much in alpha mode. We haven't really launched it properly yet, but it's a fully working knowledge base where we are putting pretty much every article that we've created in tutorial in a nice, easy, step-by-step guide. And this video will actually be on this page. The look and feel of it might change as we go through with this. More we want to do with it to make it easier to navigate. At the moment, we're kind of using the search to get around everything, which is too clunky. So we're building an index system to allow us to categorize. And this will not just be Squarespace only. It will also cover other website builders, web design skills, web design theory, graphic design, branding, some of the projects or creative influences that have impacted us at Pixelhaze, and the using of other tools, everything from freelancing to setting up and running your own business. I'm planning on having between 6,000 and 10,000 articles live within the next 12 months. There's so much content that we've collated and put together over the past 5 or 6 years, and we're just looking for a new home to keep it all in one place. But to this tutorial. If I save now, and we need to see if it's working here. So first of all, I'm going to make sure there's nothing visual out of place here. It has added a bit of space in here. So we could put it, I'm actually going to remove it on this one because it's not needed, but we could put it down towards the bottom, right at the bottom of the article where it's not noticeable. If you do this on a 7.1 page, you can just resize that code block and just overlap other content because it will be invisible and any spacing will be on a different layer to the rest of the content anyway. You can just kind of move it up out the way and make that block as small as possible, but easy enough to be able to go in and edit if you wanted to. So that's that embedded one. So it should appear identical. The only difference between a blog page or 7.0 is that it kind of snaps into position with the option to add blocks above and below and spacer blocks, etc. With 7.1, you can set it to overlap because we've got multi-layer editor, meaning that we can just overlap it on top of this paragraph here, shorten it so it goes from the left to about this size here, and then we can still edit the text behind. We can move that block out the way, but essentially it's not interfering too much other than in edit mode. One final check before we wrap up this tutorial. I'm going to right click here and we're going to view page source. I'm in Chrome, so it might differ if you're on a different platform, and let's search for .studio. I was on the wrong site. Let's try it again. So what I'm going to do here now is go to the site, click on page view, or click on view source on the front of the site. And now from here, we can do a quick search for .studio. That's the extension of this link. And we can see now that we've got the canonical link in place. That's it. Now that should be linking correctly to the canonical link to tell Google that we've not just stolen this article, so it's not going to score us down on Google, and make sure everything's neat and above board. Hope you found this helpful. Again, if you have, do check out our mainframe.pixelator.academy. One thing we will be doing is giving you the option to provide feedback in terms of, because this is based on a knowledge base of data that I built up over many, many years. However, we are using AI to tidy it up. Otherwise, there's no way that I would ever be able to get through this. We've been very careful with using multiple AI tools to help rewrite this to make it as helpful and as streamlined as possible. But one thing we're going to be doing is giving you the option to give us direct feedback in terms of whether one of these articles has helped you. If it hasn't, we will rewrite it to make sure it does what you need. And also you can join our free community on School. That's SKOOL/website-builders. And that's our free DIY community where we can help you directly on anything you need. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Cheers.